Hello, everyone, and welcome to Building Our Village with Tender Care PPEC. Today we are with Brittany Cunningham, and the topic for today is traveling with a child who has special needs. How are you doing, Brittany?
I'm doing great. How are you
Good.
guys?
We're doing
Doing
good.
fantastic. Thank
Thank
you
Good.
for coming on and being a guest today.
Oh,
This is one of the
yeah.
topics we really wanted to talk about.
Yes. Thank you for having me. I mean, I feel like I'm not an expert, but I feel like I've had enough experience and through talking with, peers and things like that, I can give enough insight to help families out there. So I'm excited to talk about traveling with a child with special needs.
Great.
Fantastic.
So I'll ask the first question we have for you. What do you do for a living?
Um, I always say I do a lot of things.
Yeah.
My hands are in like everything. I can't sit still. I need to learn how to do that. But so I work for Soundwave Music Therapy, and I also am an affiliate with Bright Feet Special Needs
Mhm.
Resource Directory of Northeast Florida. I have a podcast also for parents that are taking care of children or adults with special needs. And we talk about different topics as well. And I'm working on building that into a nonprofit.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I
and then
love
I'm a
that.
mom. Of course, that's the first and most important job that I have. So, that is what kind of moves me and motivates me to do everything else that I do now.
That's great. So uh, let's go. I got a couple here for you. Uh, One, how many kids do you have and what ages? And then one is what is your special needs child and what is their diagnosis?
Okay, so I have three children, and from oldest to youngest, they are 14, 10, and 2. And yes, I started all over again and had to learn everything all over again. And then my oldest, she is my child that has medical complexities. So she has spastic quadriplegic cerebral palsy. And so she's wheelchair bound and nonverbal, and she has a feeding tube. She has seizures. What else can I say about her? I mean, she has a lot of personality for somebody that's nonverbal, but she loves to try to use her device to help her communicate also, and she loves music.
All right. That sounds. The devices and the communication. It's amazing to see them work and to see the children communicate with them. Uh, to have that ability, it's something special.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, she's just really gotten more proficient with using her device over the past maybe 2 or 3 years. And, it's for her to be able to actually let us know what she wants and what she doesn't want has really been a blessing because it has calmed down some behaviors that, were built up because she was not able to communicate in any other way but yelling or screaming. So it has really helped with that and given her a voice.
That's amazing. So let's dive right into the topic. Do you travel often? And what was the biggest trip you've taken with your kids?
So I feel like I travel often, yes, to and from appointments, therapy. I travel much every day. I
Mhm.
feel like my traveling probably equals driving to and from Tallahassee every day. That's like how much driving I feel like I have
Wow.
to do between taking kids to appointments and things like that. So I do a lot of traveling on the normal, like in this inner city. And then as far as like family trips and things like that, we have gotten to be more adventurous, I would say, and willing to take more trips out of Jacksonville. so that the kids can explore, the world and stuff like that and see other places. And the farthest trip that we have taken was to Virginia, because that's my hometown. So we've driven there a couple times, and that was when she was my oldest was like really young. So it wasn't so difficult then because I could easily like pick her up and stuff like that and move her around. But now she's a lot bigger and heavier. But we did recently take like an extended family vacation to Georgia, and I mean it was 7 hours, 6 or 7 hours,
Mm-hmm.
and we had stopped taking trips for a while because every time that we would literally get in the car, like Ayana, she would scream and yell, and she just like wouldn't stop. And so it made it really hard for us to travel, because she just would scream and yell. So that's where the communication device and ABA also came into play with helping calm down those behaviors and allowing her to find her voice to communicate. So since she has been able to do that and her behaviors have improved, we don't have those issues in the car as much. I mean, it's like little to none that we have to deal with those. So we took a chance and we were like, okay, let's take this 7 hour trip and see how things go. And I have three kids, and I said I have a 10 and a 2-year old also. And, you would expect for a toddler to be a toddler and a 10-year-old that thinks he's a teenager, but he's not yet, to be complaining about things. But I was like, Ayana was the most behaved child on this
Oh,
trip.
Wow.
Like, she was the most behaved child on the trip for our ride to and from. And I was so surprised and I was so happy that, she was able to tolerate it and we didn't have to make so many stops. So that was really good. And it is encouraging me to want to take more trips now. I know that she
mhm.
can't tolerate, some longer distances in the car.
That's a true testament for ABA and for communication devices both. That's
Yeah.
pretty incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, it took a lot of work and it definitely works. And I know too, like getting off topic, but a lot of families are a little hesitant about going to ABA, but I always encourage, to try ABA out because it has helped us, and it's helped a lot of other families. And I think it just takes a lot of trial and error and just finding that right therapist that, meshes well with your child and yourself. So, even if you have to have a couple therapists, then that's okay. And just make sure you're always speaking up and letting them know like what it is that you want, what your goals are for your child, what their likes are, because you as the parent know your child the best.
It's all about having those visions and the end goal align.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
know that you are going to West Virginia here soon. And it did sound like everything went well on your last trip, but I just wanted to know, is there anything that you're going to do differently for this upcoming trip?
Um, so this trip, I'm traveling by myself with two kids.
Or-
So I'm traveling with my 2-year old and then Ayana, my 14-year-old. So I'm traveling with the kids that need the most help, and can't really do
Mhm.
much on their own. So this is going to be a very testing and trying trip for me, but it's something that I'm willing to do. I feel like it will be kind of like a breath of fresh air and hopefully a time to just kind of reflect on different things and see different parts of the states. So I was looking at seat systems for Ayana because she would be in her wheelchair for the most part, in the ride since we have a wheelchair van. So she would be in her wheelchair, and I was just trying to look at different seat systems for her to be able to give her a break from her wheelchair because, you know, there's no rest stops that I know of that have accessible changing tables for me to take her out and lay her down to change her, or give her legs and body a break or stretch her out. Um, in my van is not really ideal to do that because I have only two seats in the back, and then it's the wheelchair part where her wheelchair goes into. So if I wanted to take her out, I'd have to literally like pull her chair out and then take her out of her chair and lay her down on the back of the like ramp part there. So I'd have to
Mhm.
put something down, and that is a lot of you know, like stuff on my back and
Mhm.
just physical trying to pick her all the way up and, put her all the way down on the ground and pick her back up. It's a lot. And then just thinking about getting the seat system so that she can be able to possibly sit in the regular chair for a little bit, and maybe that might give her a little chance to like lay her head down on the handle, or this little seat handle, and give her a little break, a different seating position, so that she's not just stuck in her chair. So I've been looking at that. There's so many different seat systems. I didn't even know there was one where you can actually lay your child down on the back of a seat, and like you can buckle them in and to a seat belt while they're laying down.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I was looking at something like that also. But if I got that, I'd probably have to like break her chair down so that we can have room to put the third row down for her. But I'm thinking about packing, food to bring with us so we don't have to do so
Mhm.
many stops. I am trying to figure out like, okay, how am I going to change her? How am I going to get, that done? And I've been looking at some people, they have taken massage tables that are
Mhm.
portable. And so I was going to look into that, getting a portable massage table and seeing if that's something that I could use to lay her on so I don't have to bend all the way down to change her and stuff like that.
Wow.
And then they have this van or trunk like cover that you can purchase for your vehicle, and it like covers the whole back part of your car to give your child privacy when you have to change them. So I was thinking about buying one of those also to give her some privacy to change her, because I can't leave the toddler and try to take her and change her.
Right.
I gotta try to handle both of them at the same time. Um, and then her feedings, I'm like, I probably need to carry a freezer, maybe one of those disposable freezer ice cooler things, the styrofoam ones. Carry one of those, put some ice in it, and then keep her formula in there so that I can be able to switch her food out and stuff along the trip there also. I'll definitely have to stop to, start and pause her food for her feeding schedule. And really, we just like to listen to a lot of music traveling because that's what makes her
Mhm.
happy. So,
Oh,
making sure we have a good playlist going in the car, that is the most important to keep her mind off of everything. Um,
Well,
and
sounds like there's a lot of planning and preparation. If
yes.
if
yes.
if you had to give a tip for someone, would that be to make sure that you plan and prepare, for every aspect of the trip?
Definitely. I think that is important. And, like I was saying before, you as the parent, you know your child the best. So
Mhm.
you know what they can tolerate, what they can't, and if you need to prepare for the unexpected. Um, I just say, traveling, it can be difficult and it can be cumbersome and not always what we expect for it to be. So I say to go into it optimistically, and just take it day by day or hour by hour as you're traveling. And if you can plan around your child's schedule, then, do that. But for the most part, just go with the flow of things, because I always feel like when I plan, it never really goes the way that it's supposed to. And that's because I don't know how Ayana may feel, at
Mhm.
this hour and then the next hour. She could be upset or irritable and tired or uncomfortable, especially since she has this spasticity. So, I just have to plan as I go. But definitely, if I'm going to different places, if we're going to plan a family trip or something like that, I would say to research the area, call around, try to look at pictures, join Facebook groups. There's so many Facebook groups about traveling. There's some for, special needs, having a wheelchair while traveling. There's a lady that is in a wheelchair and I mean, travels to like different countries and everything, called Wheel the World. And there are so many different platforms out there for families to be able to get information and take bits and pieces from, those different platforms to be able to build on their trip and figure out what, what's the plan, what's going to work good for their family when they're traveling. But plan as you can and then take the punches as they come and work around it. And if something doesn't work one day, then maybe try it another and see how that goes. And really, I feel like, having a vacation or spending family time is that time to spend with your family. So you don't always have to be up and about and doing things. Take that time to relax and enjoy your family. Um, and just get to know maybe more about what your child likes or doesn't like, and do those things that you're not maybe able to do during a normal basis because you might like have to work, so you're always working or doing some kind of events or something like that, which is like what I do. So I really try to take the time to enjoy my family on the trips. And then it's a little bit harder too, having a child in a wheelchair to do a lot of
Mhm.
trips. I mean, different excursions or things like that, with all the lifting and stuff. For example, too, we were going to go to Key West, and actually, her school was going to Key West, and I was like, oh man, we've never been to Key West. So I'm not really sure about that. I know that, it's like on an island and it's kind of historic. And, a lot of historic places, they don't really have to abide by those ADA accommodations because it's historic. So they have a lot of those still historic buildings and things like that. And those historic buildings, they usually have like higher steps, and it's not really wheelchair accessible unless you're going to lift the chair up to get them into whatever the facility is. So I actually had happened to be going to Key West, me and my significant other, for a short trip. And we were able to, see everything. And I was like, yeah, I'm really glad that we didn't plan to come because it was not something that would have been that enjoyable for us because it's not really wheelchair accessible for or wheelchair friendly for my child. So a lot of times too, when we go on trips, like we might have to split up and be like, okay, well, you take the kids and you guys can go do this activity, and then I'll stay with Ayana, or vice versa, because we know that the place is not very wheelchair friendly, or maybe she won't tolerate being out that long doing the activity also. So, just doing things like that and knowing sometimes you might not do things as a group together, and being okay with like turn taking also too, is another
Mhm.
idea.
So it sounds like before you select a destination or decide you're going to a destination, that you tend to do the research to make sure it's a good fit for you and your family.
Yeah, definitely. I think that is important, to do that. And I know a lot of families too, they like to research about hospitals that are nearby, or make sure, that there is a local children's hospital, because if their child has more severe medical complexities and they may require more hospitalizations often, then they need to make sure that they're close to a hospital that can meet their child's needs. So that's also something that I know from personal experience that some families that they look for to, is making sure wherever they're going that there is a children's hospital nearby as well.
That's a great point. It's something that I wouldn't have thought of, but
Mhm.
you know, in the instance that something does happen, you want to make sure that they have the ability to care for your child, and that could be very important.
Yeah. Especially for those families that maybe have a child with like a rare disorder. I think that can be challenging too for them. So, it kind of limits their ability to travel. And I know I had a friend where her child, um, I cannot remember what the condition is called that she has, but I want to say she had hydrocephalus also. And so when she was first born, she had to be laying down only. She could only lay down. She could not sit up because the fluid in her brain, like she just couldn't sit up. She had to be laying down. And they had to get like a traveling system for the child to just lay down while traveling also. And that was something that I think the local hospital here helps her family with too. So make sure that you look at your resources and visit your primary care, and you have all your, you know, um, medications also in place, and you check with your doctor and make sure it's okay for you to be traveling with your child to wherever it is that you may be traveling to also. And then that was another big thing too, medications.
Mhm.
Um, so I have been, trying to pre-plan that because Ayana has seizures and she doesn't sleep well, so we have some, like narcotics that she takes to help her be able to sleep at night. And like insurance is very strict about when they will fill those prescriptions. So they really don't do like fill 2 months in advance. Like you have to wait the 30 days to be able to fill that. And we're kind of leaving in the middle of the month, kind of towards the end, right when we need to make sure we have prescriptions filled and things like that. So I'm trying to see if there's a way I can work around. And I've asked her doctors, like, can we get a 2 month supply prescription this time? Because we're going out of town and I don't want to run out while we're out of town. And you actually can ask your doctor for that. And they can do up to a 3 month supply. This is for, most doctors. Again, make sure you ask your doctor about that. And then also too, if you talk to the pharmacy, they have a vacation something a vacation override. So we use a Publix pharmacy down at Nemours, and they said that we can put in a vacation override for her medications. So that's something too to keep in mind also, making sure you have those medications and formula. If your child's on formula, have all those supplies ready.
The medication thing is a great tip because
Mhm.
that's something you might not think about, and it's just accustomed to getting that medication at the end of the month. But when you're traveling and it's the end of the month, you can't just go to any pharmacy. So pre-planning that is very helpful, I'm sure.
Yes. And I like to also to make sure I make a checklist before I leave when I'm packing and preparing for my trip. I write down everything that I need to bring on the trip. And as I'm packing, I just check everything off on my list so that I don't forget anything because, if you go into another state, especially, or if you were like going out of the country, then and your child has a, feeding tube, your chances of being able to get like a pump because you left the pump or the charger or something at home would probably be very difficult. But I also tell parents, again, join those groups because usually in like every state they have a group for children that have special needs. So don't be afraid to be vulnerable and ask, like, hey, can I borrow this? Or do you have an idea on how I can get this equipment because I forgot it? Or calling that local DME company and seeing if there's a way that they can work around with your insurance for you to be able to borrow it while you're on the trip. And I always say, I wish that there was like a store, kind of like a gas station, or even at the gas station, but it was a medical supply store. So if you forgot your child's charger to their feeding pump, or you forgot the pump, or you forgot some bags, like all that is there at the store, and you can purchase it. I think they should have that in like maybe every major city or something like that, so that parents can be able to access that.
I agree. I just the other day in our group online on Facebook, there was a parent that was traveling in Florida looking for, I think it was feeding bags. They had forgot the feeding bags, and they were in the Panhandle. Unfortunately, like not around any of our centers, but I was amazed by the amount of people that were looking to help and like try this place or try this, go to the local hospital or see where you can go. And I think they ended up finding them through the group, which was very beneficial.
Yeah. And that's another good one too, the hospital. I didn't think about that. So that's a good one too, to just go to the hospital if it's something urgent, go to the hospital. Yeah.
Right. But something like that, a convenience store per se for medical equipment or medical supplies, um, not even for children, but just for anybody traveling that has medical needs, that would be so beneficial.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Make
maybe
it
if I
some sort of, go ahead, sorry.
if maybe if I hit the lottery one day, I can build up
There you go.
for
Start
families to be able to have that.
it, like ki- it could be kind of like one of they have like the foster closets and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
instead it could be the a medical closet.
Right. Yeah. That would be good. Or even, how they have where they have the books and the little where people can just get free books and stuff.
Right,
They had like little
right,
stands and they put their unused, extra supplies in there. That would
right.
be cool.
Look at us brainstorming here for future resources.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. And I just have to say, Brittany, I'm learning so much right now. It is just amazing how, just talking about your experience with traveling in the car, you just know so much. And it's just making me really think about, how much goes into being a parent with a child with special needs and like every little thing you have to think about and how important every little thing is. It's just, you know,
Yeah.
very interesting. But I did have a question. So I know you talked about, seat belts and researching places as well before you go. But what are other strategies you can think of for ensuring your child's safety during travel?
Um, just yeah, making sure again that you have all their necessary equipment and supplies, making sure you make a list if you need to have that, maybe make two lists to double check behind yourself. Look at the different seating systems available. If you need to get a professional to help you, there's resources out there for that. If you're here in Jacksonville, then Wolfson's does have the car seat clinic, and they do a lot of different assistance with seating systems. So, not even just like car seats. Again, like maybe if you have a child with autism and they just won't stay seated in the car, then they can recommend different websites or different seating systems for you to be able to purchase for your child to help with that as well. And a lot of times, too, insurance, they may pay for it. So always try your insurance first, or different organizations may help you with that as well. But yeah, definitely making sure that you are you know, researching seat systems available if you need that. There's the wheelchair clinic or the equipment clinic also too down at Wolfson that they have. So if you are looking for different pieces of equipment to help with the safety of your child, no matter what type of needs that they may have, as far as equipment goes, you can consult with them also. with a prescription through your primary care doctor, and they can help you figure out what is a good seating system, or what can help keep your child safe when you guys are traveling. So that's another option as well. Making sure that maybe too you can check with the your child's physical therapist, if they go to therapy. If they go to ABA, maybe ABA has some ideas about some safety while traveling also. So I would recommend those different resources.
That's great. Just reaching out to, people like you said, therapists and getting their opinions. That would be very valuable. What advice would you give a parent who has anxiety about taking their child with special needs on a trip? Like to help them calm their anxiety.
Um, I mean, well, first, think about if the trip is really worth your anxiety or not. I think that mental health is very important, and if it's something that you don't think you're ready for, or it is just going to cause you extra anxiety, and it's not like necessary for you to absolutely do, the trip or what have you, then don't put yourself through it. Don't do it. Um, Maybe see if you can find a family friend or something that maybe wants to travel with you and help you out if you did want to travel. Um, just take lots of breaks, and again, like take it day by day, when you're going on a trip, and don't put pressure or expectations on anything. Just try to just take it day by day, take it slow. If you need to stop and take a breather, then stop and do that. The road's not going anywhere, it's going to be there. So just take your time. You don't have to worry about rushing or anything like that. So that's what I would recommend if you have anxiety. I would also say too, like a lot of times it can be just anxiety also too from like family members, or just other relatives that maybe want you to come and visit, and they don't quite understand what your situation is with your child with medical needs. So explaining that to your family and trying to, give them the big idea about, how hard it is to really travel. Because I know for me, I've had to, tell family members like, I can't just get up and jump up and leave and go on a trip. It's not that simple to just get up in the car and go. Or even if, you say you're going to go to this destination, like I have to, research and make sure that it's somewhere that my child can even go, and find out, what does she need to have a special seating system on an airplane? Do you need to travel on an airplane? What are other ways to possibly travel if I didn't want to drive? I mean, there's so many things to put into that too, and I think a lot of times family they don't always understand, especially if they have not been able to take the time to sit with you and your family and understands the complexities, um, of your child and your family and what comes along with that. But you can only do what you can do, and don't be afraid to let whoever it is know that, even if it is your family, let them know how you feel and what it takes for you to be able to travel to whatever destination, so that they understand. I think it's better that they know instead of keeping it all in. Making sure you express yourself.
That's great advice. So overall, from what we've talked about, and if we had to put a list together, the top three, maybe five tips, I'd say one, from gathering from what you said, one, plan, two, prepare, three, be willing to take that detour or that stop, or you know
Yeah.
know that you have to be able to go with the flow.
Hmm.
Four would be research your destination. And what would you say, five?
Five would be just have fun.
Yeah.
just to have
Yeah,
fun.
because that's important too, and we didn't even,
Yeah,
and it's all about that. It's like you
yeah,
said earlier, connecting with your family and your child, and
yeah.
you know,
So, I
have
mean, even
fun.
if it's just spending, time together at home or, wherever you guys are going, just spending time together and not going out to find things to do in that destination, like it's okay to just stay in and relax. Enjoy that time to relax. So,
Right.
that's what I would say. Enjoy, have fun, take the time to relax and don't put, pressure on yourself.
I love that.
Mhm.
Great
Yeah.
advice. Was there anything we missed with the questions we asked, or anything you'd like to add?
Um, Let me see. I don't think so. Um, yeah, I don't think so. I would say also too, the one thing that does make it a little hard for us traveling too is that my daughter, she does know like when she's not in her own bed. Like she knows when she's in an unfamiliar place. So sometimes it can be hard for her to like unwind and be able to go to sleep because she's not in a familiar place. So that can be kind of hard and taxing. But again, you just have to find something that works. Um, you know, just make sure that you plan, you research, join Facebook groups. There's a lot of different travel agents out there also too that work specifically with families that have individuals with special needs that can help you plan a trip also. And I would say don't limit yourself. Um, like I said, just because you have this hurdle, just because your child might be in a wheelchair, don't limit your family to being able to explore outside of where you are. Don't limit yourself to exploring outside of the US. Like I was saying, there's people that are traveling out of the country in wheelchairs because there's destinations that are able to accommodate individuals in wheelchairs. So don't limit yourself. You have one life to live, and just because people may think that your child is unaware, they're really not, and they want to explore and see the world also, and socialize with other people. So, you know, do what is going to be best for your family and the life that you have while you're here. So enjoy that time.
Make the most of it while you can, and
Yeah.
yeah, that's great. And yeah, that's the other thing. You might not have to go and explore these other things, but just going and taking in the scenery of a different place, or going in and seeing the different landscapes, it's all part of the journey. And you might not have to do the attraction, or you might not have to do the thing if you're just able to see the different wildlife, or see the different landscape. It makes a difference.
Yeah. So that's what I would say for families.
Uh, Great advice. Great advice. Um, so we didn't talk about it on this, but you are a published author as well, with a book, right?
Yeah.
Well,
I
I have it right here.
Nice. Thank you.
I just figured I'd put that on there, and could you tell people where they might be able to find your book?
So my book is Looking Beyond the Stars, The Journey of a Special Needs Mother, and it is available on Amazon. I'm working on getting it in Barnes and Nobles, but right now you can purchase it on Amazon. So go on there and purchase your copy. It tells about my personal journey as a mother of a child with special needs and the, trials and tribulations that we've had to deal with, the hurdles that we've had to overcome, and, that you still can have a life. You still can be and do whatever it is that you aspire to do and be, even though you may have hurdles placed in front of you. So that's what my book is all about. Trying to give some encouragement to families and, letting them know this is not the end of your journey just because you had a hurdle pop up. So that is my book, Looking Beyond the Stars, and it's on Amazon.
Everybody that listens to this podcast should go purchase a copy and read it.
Thank you.
And where can they find you on social media?
So I have Facebook and Instagram, and it's called Two Moms and Some Labels. And I'm trying to stay up with posting things. I'm not too social tech savvy, but I'm trying to do better and keep, everything up to date. Again, like I said, we are working on getting ourselves into being a nonprofit, and we are working on publishing our website also. That is going to be two moms and some labels.com. So hopefully we'll be launching that within the next week or so. So that's where you can find us for now, on Facebook and Instagram.
It's very exciting publishing your website and getting that going, nonprofit. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd have to say, I'm amazed you got your, like you said earlier, you got your hands in a little bit of everything. You're very involved within the community in Jacksonville and St. Augustine. I love going to the events and seeing you, and so glad we had met at our first Resource Expo.
Yeah. And oh my gosh, the last one was even better. It was so amazing. And I was
Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
happy and excited seeing so many different businesses come out to share their information with families. That was so amazing. So I'm looking forward to the next one next year.
Yeah, so are we. I think it's going to be hard to top this year, but Aurora did a phenomenal job
Thank
organizing it
you.
all, and
Yeah,
I've
good
got
job.
faith she's going to do it and outdo herself again.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you very much. All right. Well, thank you so much, Brittany, for being on our podcast. You were so insightful. We really appreciate it. And as she said, you can find her at Two Moms and Some Labels. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Bye.